Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Welcome back on this oh-so-wonderful afternoon to another StarCraft 2 commentary. I'm finally getting back into it, getting to do what it is I want to. I've been so busy with stuff like work, with my girlfriend, getting ready to go back to college, on vacation, all sorts of crazy stuff. So I've not had as much time as I would like to cast, especially now that I'm casting at Artcraft Gaming as well. Steam Summer Sale, First World Problems. Pretty sweet, but now I'm right back into it, finally getting to do some of this stuff, and it is yet another TLO game. How freaking exciting. All the ones I've casted of him so far have been so excellent. And in the bottom, or I guess top right-hand corner, kind of, as far as the top right-hand corner spawns go, it's the top right-hand. It's a red Zerg, not Terran, he used to play that Zerg player. It is LiquidTLO himself. And in the top left-hand corner, we have, well, another barcode player, but no doubt this is a game on the Korean ladder, most likely, where I think TLO is Grandmaster? I'm not entirely sure, though. He's either Grandmaster or Master. Either way, it's going to be a good game, because even if you're Korean Master League, you're pretty dang good. So it is going to be a blue Protoss player, and it is going to be the first Zerg versus Protoss player from game I've casted in quite a bit from him. I've been casting a lot of ZVT and some ZVZ as well, but it's going to be cool to see his ZVP style and exactly what he does. Because, of course, the thing is, with current ZVP or modern ZVP, is there is the so popular, so widely used Stefano style, which is where the Zerg player will, of course, get 3 hatcheries very, very quickly, get a lot of drones, and then get a lot of roaches and a lot of Zerglings as they prepare to go into the mid-game or ramp up the aggression and defend against an all-in play from the Protoss. But at the same time, you have emerging styles, kind of like Damaga, where you can go for things like Baneling Ultralisk Ling, something like that. Just crazy things that you wouldn't have thought possible until they really showed you how to do it. So TLO, being such a creative player, it's going to be interesting to see what he opts to do here. Whether he does go for something like that, or he just plays standard with the roaches, and the Nexus is going down from our blue Protoss player, because of course he's Forge Fast expanding. What else would a Protoss player ever do in the matchup? And the Protoss player very confused as to why there are not bases being taken yet, so he's just checking for them, and now he's probably a little bit worried about all of it. We do see he's currently not making any probes. Of course, he also just started that pylon. So we will have to see exactly what he's going to be doing if he's scared, because TLO, he's still going to be taking 3 bases as far as I can tell. It'll just be the natural, be very slightly delayed, and the third might be a little delayed as well. But he's checking everywhere for that probe. He wants to find it so badly. The question is he going to check up here? And oh god, the Protoss player is very confused about TLO's base-taking patterns. He's checking all the way over here, but TLO's getting the bases at a standard time. He was just throwing them off. I think what he did, I don't know, he like sent a drone over, pulled it back, then used the scouting drone to make the natural when the probe didn't expect, when the probe was scouting here. Now that the probe is scouting down here, he's making it here. I don't even know. But TLO going crazy and faking out his opponent, and that's really something that TLO loves to do. He is that guy. If anyone would do it, TLO would. And we do have our Protoss player just, well, chrono boosting out probes, because what else do you do early game as Protoss? You chrono boost out probes, unless you're like proxy 2 gating with chrono boost, but then you're just chrono boosting out zealots. You're just chrono boosting early game, no matter what you do. Cybernetic score is on the way now, pretty standardly timed, and TLO actually already has these destructible rocks down below 3/4 health. These Zerglings are going to continuously working on it, and by the time a third goes up, these things will probably be down, and that'll be really, really good for TLO. We'll just have to see whether that does actually come into play, or whether we see some crazy 2-base stuff, or TLO loses too much to actually capitalize on it, or even whether the Protoss player just, it doesn't even matter that these rocks are down or debris is down. He's good enough that he can hold it without a problem. And TLO, yep, he's just droning, has his queens spread to all his bases. He's going to be going ahead and getting off those injects really quickly. He does have the creep spread started up, actually doing a lot of it up here on the high ground. So very cute from him, cannot be denied once down there. Not that there's detection on the map for a Protoss player yet. There's a pylon in the base. There is a third gas going down. Now, third gas on top of the 2, well, it indicates Stargate. Right there, which is kind of a weird spot. I didn't expect it to be there for a second, but yes, 3 gases do indicate Stargate play, and we're going to have to see, well, 1, is TLO going to see that, and when is he going to see it, and 2, is he going to react to it accordingly? Is he going to overcommit on spores? Is he going to lose some units? It'll be hard to say, and right now he's just trying to like keep the Zealot out of there. Now, the Protoss player did just see the health on these rocks. If he happened to click it, he would have seen, but unfortunately for him, I do not think he was able to see that. So TLO now grabbing his 2 gases. They are a little bit late, actually. Ooh, and getting an Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren. Interesting from TLO. Definitely getting those gas geysers a bit late, but as a result, his drone count is pretty dang high. And of course, he already has all the queens he wants. He gets this. He sees these, but with the seeing the sentries would not indicate Stargate to me. Seeing those sentries would make me think he's going to be going for one of those Immortal Sentry all-ins, and it seems like that is what TLO is going to be thinking for now. But he's going to be seeing the Void Ray in just a second. And TLO is going to be trying to scout. I don't think he's quite going to see it, so that's going to be unfortunate for him. There could be stuff down here, and you see he's probably going to send in this Overlord again, because he's like, why can't I see any of this? This is really weird. And he is very concerned about what's going to be happening this time, but some great creep spread. Great creep spread from TLO. Now, he's finally mining his gas. He's getting his Ling speed soon, I hope. With that next 100 gas, he should be doing it. Getting that layer, ramping up the gas geysers. Wants to put one more guy in here, which he actually missed. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go ahead and grab that guy pretty soon. And then he'll put that on the gas, and he's actually mining off even more gases. Getting a bunch of spines. So it looks like TLO might want to go for some really quick infestors, or might want to go for some kind of a spire play. It's hard to say, but you normally don't need that many gases. And oh god, TLO did indeed break down the rocks, and our Protoss player is indeed going for a third. So he is going to reveal that those rocks are broken down. It'll be interesting for him to see, and all of a sudden the Protoss player is like, oh, well, that complicates things a little bit. We're going to have to see, what is TLO going to do? He's really preparing for an Immortal Sentry push, but now he does, of course, see that that expansion is going to be going up, and has just like the Overlord train here. He's got the L, so he's maybe rocking, he's going to spell out TLO. It's backwards, don't worry about it. And now it's a thing. I don't actually know what that would be. I'm running out of things I could say. Maybe here it's like a V if you include the Queen. I don't know. But Phoenix are running in here now. He's making a Spore Crawler. He's hopefully going to be able to save that, but no, with the Void Ray coming in as well, he just wants to be careful with the Queen, and he does get off a very nice Transfuse, but at the added Void Ray, it's just going to be too much DPS. He's just trying to buy time for his Spore Crawlers to finish, and it looks like they are going to be finishing up now. The question is, the Queen is going to get killed. Are the units going to get out of here? No. The Void Ray only gets shot a few times, so the Protoss player getting away with killing a Queen, taking almost no damage in the process. Now he's just going to town on the Overlord L that was formed. That is 2 Overlords down now. About to be 3 or 4. He's going to stay here for just a second. That's a 3rd Overlord dying. Oh god, I'm sleepy. And we do see some very nice micro from the Protoss player. He sees that they're getting attacked, or that the spores are rooting, and he just says, okay, I'll just move a little bit out of range. He wants to try and save this Phoenix, and he does save it. He actually hasn't lost a single unit yet, so now he's just evacuating, being very, very careful. And that was beautiful from the Protoss player, while going ahead and at least working on grabbing a 3rd. He wasn't able to do it, probably because he was so focused on his micro, but we do see 200 average APM right now. Very nice from him, very high considering what point in the game we're at. And he did a lot of damage to TLO right there. Look at that. TLO losing 1,100 more resources than his opponent, but he is going for Spire. Did the Protoss player see that? Oh, no, he didn't. And I did not notice the Spire until just now. I was correct in predicting he might be going for Mutas. But the thing with this is his opponent's going Colossus, alright? So that means Mutas are going to be good. But his opponent already also has, 6 Phoenix, 5 Phoenix, and he already has that Stargate up. That means if he wants to get that range upgrade on the Phoenix, it'll be a lot easier for him. And he can get out some Phoenix very quickly. And even without the range upgrade, Phoenix are just good against Mutas. Just plain and simple. So, TLO going to be pushing in with the Mutas, and he has about his 3 times, actually he has exactly 3 times as many units as his opponent has Phoenixes, but there is a Twilight Council on the way that of course allow things like Blink to come out, and now our Protoss player is going to be engaging with TLO. It's going to be that dance back and forth, but with Stalker and Phoenix support. Going to be very close. I actually think it's really cool how it's just like Zerg, Protoss, and they're just going to be like dueling with each other. One annoying fact, if you put a siege tank here, it can shoot that. It can shoot that. A little bit frustrating. But TLO, he's still making Mutas. God, this guy, he's really going for the Mutas, and oh, he's expanding all across the bottom of the map. We do see the Protoss player, though, has a probe down there, has a pylon down there. So not only can he warp in here, harass here, but he can also just warp in here, harass here. So that'll be really good for him. The Phoenix are going to be running into the expansion now, picking up a few drones, but they need to be careful. And oh, they're getting trapped by the Mutas, and I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to get away. The Protoss player is like, no, not my Phoenix. He is getting Blink. It is about halfway done, getting Protoss ground weapons level 2. Just started, and let's take a look at TLO's upgrades. He does currently have +1 on the Spire. Makes sense. You almost always get that. He's also currently getting +1 melee, or what is he getting? +2 ground, +1 ground carapace. Okay, so TLO getting those upgrades, doing an okay job. Taking a look at the ground upgrade of his opponent, he's at 1 armor, 1 attack. He's going to be at 2 attack very soon, and that benefits those Colossi so much. But TLO expanding in this pattern suggests he's probably going to want to go for a base trade. Why? Because things like Mutas and Zerglings are the fastest units in the game. If you can expand all the way across the map, it gets really, really hard for them to do it. And he's killing a lot of units right here. He does kill 1 Colossus, focusing down the second one. Great force fields though from our Protoss player, and TLO forced to retreat with those Mutas for just a second. Whole bunch of cannons being made all over the place, so not in the natural. Not sure if there's a reason for that, but he also has a lot right over here, knowing it's so easy for his opponent to harass. Mutas are running in here as well. With Roach support and Zerglings, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. He's going to be taking out a lot of the cannons. A good number of probes going down in the process. They're collateral damage, you might say. And God, TLO actually killed quite a few workers. He's killed 19 in total this game, and he has a pretty decent advantage. And looks like he's committing to the Mutas. He's not going to be transitioning, and his opponent still has no idea that those expansions are there. So that's going to be good for him. Does he know that the Zerglings are there? No, he doesn't. They're just out of range. There is an observer. So the observer might eventually be able to scout them out. Not too much tech to scout out. I mean, I guess you could scout no infestation pit, no hive, and be like, okay, well, I guess he's just going to continue going Muta forever. And has he scouted anything yet? No, he just missed that one. And he is now going to see this expansion. He's probably going to be like, okay, well, I should maybe try and kill that, but I don't exactly know how. He has been kind of forced into his base for the time being, and that's the advantage of doing Mutas. They force your opponent to stay in their base. They force your opponent to be very conservative in their playstyle. Otherwise, they risk losing a lot if they push out. And now there's a Phoenix which has indeed seen this. A few Zealots being sent over there, and if those few Zealots who do pretty well against those Zerglings. Oh god, the letter A, or the syllable, or the sound is just not in my favor today. And is the Queen going to go down? Oh, the Queen's going to go down, so that is very good for our Protoss player in this game. But TLO, what is it with you in the creep spread, man? What is it with you? This is not versus Terran, and you still have their creep spread outside of their base. And the Protoss player, who's always said, like, he's always talked to the Terrans on forums, he's like, nah, man, Protoss isn't OP, Terran isn't OP, or, good god, third attempt. He's always on the forums talking to the Terran players. He's like, nah, Queens aren't OP, Zerg isn't OP, it's fine, just 2 base all in. And now he's like, okay, maybe Queens are a little bit overpowered. Now, more Zealots being warped in, and TLO did indeed see that, so he's going to know there's, oh god, but that's going to be too much for him. He knows that there's a pylon up there now, and he's sending down the Mutas, and good god, that is a lot of Mutas. There are currently 32 Mutas on the map. TLO just really loves those multiples of 8, so it is a perfect line in his hotkeys. And look at that, he is, okay, so that is some of those Mutas, all of those Mutas, the other half of those Mutas. So he's really just all prepared to split and micro them everywhere, and that was probably not so good for TLO. He just straight flew over the Stalkers and just lost a lot of them. But he does have a spine wall, and he was just pulling back to defend versus these Zealots. And god, our Protoss player killing a fair number of workers, and now he's the one pulling his opponent thin. One Infestor does pop down there, and that's going to tell his Protoss opponent that, okay, I need to be worried about the Infestors now. Mutas are going to run in here, maybe try and do a little damage, but there's Storms on the field now as well. Is Storm complete? Yes, it is, and all of these guys have the energy for it. They actually all almost have energy for 2 of them. So that could be pretty bad for TLO if he's not careful, if he does not have his units split up. And now he is going to be, TLO is going to be running in, trying to be aggressive, catch his opponent away from his base, get some huge fungals on the army. But, oh god, the Storms were pretty good. The Mutas now getting right over top of the Protoss army, but they're going to die to these Stalkers. The Mutas are not actually that good in a straight up fight. He's losing a lot of those, and all he really has left at this point is a few Zerglings. He's lost his Infestors, and he's even going to lose these Mutas, especially with the very fast reinforcing from his opponent. TLO immediately trying to remax on 48 Zerglings and 4 Infestors. 6 Infestors right now. And it's 66 probes to 66 drones, and that is not going to be the best for TLO right there. But he does have a good number of units out on the map. Greater Spire is well on the way, so that's going to be good for him. Hopefully, he can get those up before his opponent can really start to do things with them. Now he does have those High Templar, so he can go ahead and get those Archons very quickly if need be, and he already has the Stargate, so he can get that Fleet Beacon when he needs to and get out that Mothership a bit quicker than a Protoss player that doesn't have that Fleet Beacon. But TLO is going to have to live through these pushes for that to happen. Now, does he see everything? Well, yeah, he does, because his creep spread is insane. So he knows where the army is. He's lost this expansion, so that's going to be unfortunate for him. Was not able to get units down there. I'm not even really sure if he tried. The Zerglings are going to get a few Stalkers right there. Storms going off on all the units, getting a bit of damage right there. But we see about half the Zerglings are still green, so not the end of the world for TLO. And there are Corruptors coming out now with the Greater Spire completed. There is a Colossus on the map, or in production, so that'll fall very quickly to those Corruptors when it does. No Thermal Lance though, very interesting. Might be doing that just for maybe a little added DPS. You do need to get the Thermal Lance though if you want them to be effective. Zerglings pinning the Zealots up against the wall, but I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. And this right here is just mass Zergling. TLO being pulled very thin here, wants to make sure he does not lose these drones. We see him queuing them around to not lose them. But oh god, one Muta is not very good against Zealots. And more reinforcing Zealots going to be able to do a lot of damage if the drones do run their way. And the Protoss player has seized center control. He has a cannon. He has a pylon there. No fourth base yet, but he's still running fairly strong off of one and very strong off of this one. And doing a great job denying the mining and bases of TLO, taking the center expansion as he pushes. He's killing off the creep. Zerglings are just getting slaughtered. And TLO, he has 4 or 5 Broodlords, and he has 6 Infestors. Now, take a look at the energy on the Infestors. We see it's about enough for 2 Fungals each, so that's a lot of Fungal, but does he have enough supporting units, especially with Thermal Lance on the way and the Colossus on the way? Those are going to do a lot of ground damage to the ground units, and if TLO doesn't, even if he has a whole bunch of Infestors, even if he loses his support, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. There are going to be High Templar sent out here as well. They might be able to kill the Zerglings. He needs to be careful, though. Oh, God. High Templar, TLO. Oh, God. Okay. Very nice from the High Templar. The Protoss player probably did not realize that was happening. The production tab's getting enormous. +3 flyer attacks, +3 carapace, +2 flyer carapace, +3 melee attacks. So TLO does have that 3-3. Both players average APM hovering around 200, though the Protoss player over 200. So very impressive from him. Taking a look at the units lost before this engagement, we see TLO has lost more. That is kind of inherent with the style. Hatchery getting killed up here by some Blink Stalkers. I'm sorry, I keep missing things like that. And this expansion is officially mined out. Our Protoss player is officially a 1 basing Protoss, but TLO is like a 1.5 basing Zerg. Or by 1 basing, I mean, well, yeah, 1 basing, this will be mining soon. So he's actually not in too terrible of shape. He's just checking for an expansion up here. He sees there's not one. The Colossus is going to be able to do a lot of damage to those Zerglings. And TLO is now sending in Zerglings here. But, you know, I'm not sure how much they're going to do to those cannons. Cannons are so strong versus Zerglings when you have enough of them. So the Broodlord's going to be doing a lot of damage. TLO is moving forward as Spine Crawlers, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Our Protoss player is getting to some very high numbers of army units. He does have a Mothership about to complete, and while these Blink Stalkers are dying pretty quickly, well, Broodlings die pretty quickly to cannons as well. So he just needs to get one good engagement. I think he can win the game. The question is, how long is it going to be for that engagement to actually occur? How long is it going to take? So we do have the Nexus is going to be getting killed right here. And oh god, that went down quickly. That escalated fast. Wow. So there is a Mothership on the field now. It does not have energy for Vortex, though. He's still got about another, well, 30 seconds until he gets energy out. So the Broodlords, there's a lot of Broodlords, though. I'm not actually sure if our Protoss player can really do it now. He's lost a lot of his base, and now he's like, okay, I'm kind of all in. I need to do a push now. He does have the Cloak, and TLO does not have a whole lot of detection, but he has a bunch of Infestors back home, just letting the Spine Crawlers slowly die. And a lot of Broodlords. Some nice feedbacks going down on the Infestors. There's only about 1 left now. These guys move forward. It could get a Vortex. Could actually get all the Overseers. That could be kind of significant. But when is he going to get it? No, he still doesn't have the energy for it, but he's doing a lot of damage, just kind of sitting back here, killing all the units he can. But no, he's going to be forced to retreat. And he actually doesn't have, he has 1 Archon. And this is looking increasingly bad for our Protoss player with only 1 Archon, and he does have a few High Templar, but an Archon toilet doesn't really work too well with just 1. The Mothership is about to go down, but TLO himself does not have the strongest economy in the world. That base is almost mined out. That base is his only other mining one, with this one still in production. Lucky for him, it's not going to get denied because his opponent is focused on keeping expansions of his own rather than we saw him trying to deny them all throughout the mid-game. TLO, 1 Infestor dies, 2 Infestor dies, 3 Infestor, 4. But now, oh god, the mothership is going to be getting attacked by queens, really. Broodlings are pretty good, and we do see some nice play. Oh god, clutch transfuses from TLO, stopping that from being picked off. The mothership trying to cloak her baby. She's like, no, don't kill them, please. And my god, this has been a pretty non-stop game in terms of posturing for position and harassment going on all across the map. And he is going to be pushing up slowly with his Colossi. He wants to try and make sure to keep them cloaked. He's going to be slowly going ahead and killing the Spore Crawlers, which will help with the detection. The TLO is going to be setting up a flank with his Broodlords, and you can actually get a partial surround with the Broodlords. The mothership does have enough energy for a Vortex, but when will it do it, and where will it do it? If he could got it right there. Oh, he does get it. Barely misses the Broodlords, but he does get all the Infestors. The mothership getting dangerously low on health, but now, okay, he is going to be getting the Archons in there. They do barely make it, but they do get in there. And the Protoss player is so far down on supply, though I'm not sure if it'll be enough. The Infestors and Broodlords taking a lot of damage, but the Archons taking a lot of damage as well. And I think our Protoss player might have finally been worn out in this game. He's down by almost 100 supply, actually exactly 100 supply right this very second before TLO makes another set of Zerglings. And I think TLO has managed to take this game. That was a long one, my god. And he had a lot of bases denied, but in the end, while his opponent was busy denying bases, TLO wasn't scrambling, trying to defend them. He wasn't freaking out, making too many drones, too many mid-tier units. He was just back home, calmly making his Spine Crawlers, making Broodlords, teching up, getting some Infestors with a lot of energy. He knew that, okay, it doesn't matter if you can kill all of those bases. If I can get to that Broodlord Infestor army, I can be cost efficient. And as long as I can be cost efficient, I don't need those 9 bases, because you're going to be stuck on a mid-game army, because that is what you're doing all of this harassment with. I know you're not teching back home. So the Protoss player sending in the few last Blinkstalkers he has, but this is a pretty big army from TLO. Between the Infestors, the Lings, and the Broodlords are going to be running in. The Colossus just gets one-shotted, so that was unfortunate. And he's storming right on top of the Broodlords, and TLO's like, I don't even care. He's just going ahead, he's transfusing those and pushing forward once more, making more Broodlords. And, you know, it's just going to be a matter of time before the game is over. His opponent is actually not really mining. He's mining, well, here. And that's going to be mined out in about a second. No minerals for an expansion, and he's fighting his hardest. But, you know, it's just a matter of time here. So we are just waiting for the brutal Protoss to maybe put up his last final valiant push, but so many Broodlords from TLO. Oh god, TLO, all you have to do is attack. Like, he can't actually tell that, like, this isn't just like the frontal part of the push that could be coming and kill him. But he'll probably see it when his opponent GGs, or when his opponent blinks under all the Stalkers. He'll be like, oh, well, that probably wasn't a good move. That was kind of risky. And there's the GG from our Korean, I'm assuming, blue Protoss player. Another great game from TLO. Be sure to check out the rest in the playlist on my channel. Going to be linking to it right at the bottom of the screen where you see these few Stalkers right there. So definitely go watch, support me, guys, and thanks for watching.